الحميد واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له اشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله ارسله رحمه للعالمين. Inshallah, a reminder that tomorrow, inshallah, Tuesday, we'll have Salat al-Tahajjud at 2 in the morning. That's Wednesday morning. So tomorrow night, inshallah, we're going to start Tahajjud at 2. We should be done before 3. Then we have at least 1 hour for Suhoor, inshallah. Tonight, inshallah, we'll continue our discussion about how Ibrahim alayhi salam was making da'wah to his father. And why do we see all these stories in the Quran, like the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and his father was kafir, and Nuh alayhi salam and his son was kafir, and Lut alayhi salam and his wife was kafir. Then in Surah Al-Tahrim, you see the comparison between the wife of Nuh, the wife of Lut, both of them were kafir, and you see the wife of Pharaoh, the biggest tyrant of all time, right? She was a believer. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us both of these stories to show us that hidayah does not come from Nuh alayhi salam, or Lut alayhi salam, or Ibrahim alayhi salam, or Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because some uncles of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam were kafir, right? And you see on the other side, the wife of Pharaoh, she was a believer. Why? Because hidayah comes from Allah. If Allah wants to guide you, you will be guided. If Allah doesn't want to guide you, it doesn't matter who wants to guide you. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the Quran, you don't guide whoever you want. It's Allah who gives guidance. It's Allah who gives hidayah, right? So this is number one. Number two, when you see the way Ibrahim alayhi salam talks to his father in Surah Maryam, and you see how he talks to other people, like he is challenging their worship of the idols. You see in other surahs, he's telling his people who used to worship false gods, he's telling them, shame on you. You have no sense. How come you worship all these things? He's very he's very firm with them, right? He doesn't play games with them. Up front, right? Very firm. When he talks to his father, he is humble, he is very compassionate, he is very gentle when he talks to his father. He doesn't say oof, right? Just like he's telling other people, right? Because we know Islamically, you're not supposed to say oof to your parents, right? So, you see the way he talks to his father, he's not calling him by his name as we mentioned last night, he's calling him Ya Abati, oh dear father. 4 times in the same passage, right? Oh father, first he started with the logical approach, right? And he said, how come you worship something that doesn't benefit you, it doesn't hear you? If you need help, it's not going to help you. All these idols, they cannot help you. This is the logical approach. Like when you talk to your father and he doesn't pray, you tell him, Dad, it's only 3-4 minutes, right? Smoking, there's no benefit in smoking. You're just wasting your money. You're destroying your health. This is the logical approach. Then he moves to another level of da'wah. He says, oh Father, I received something from Allah that you have not received. And we mentioned last night that this is the nicest way of putting it, because somebody else would have said, I'm knowledgeable, you are ignorant, right? Bagara, right? He would have said it in a different way, right? But he said it in the most beautiful way. He said, I have received something from Allah that you have not received. So if you follow me, I will guide you. He gave him da'wah without hurting his feelings, right? Then he moved to another level. He said, why do you follow shaitan, right? So he is not blaming his father for doing the wrong thing. He's blaming it on the shaitan, right? So he's not trying to make his father look guilty, right? He's blaming it on the shaitan. He said, if you follow shaitan, he will mislead you. If you follow me, I will guide you to the right way. It's shaitan's fault. Then he moved to another level, the emotional level of da'wah. And he said, if you continue following shaitan, I'm afraid, I'm concerned that you will be touched by the punishment from Allah. Touched, right? So I'm concerned for you. I don't want you to go to Jahannam or anything. He's saying, I don't want you even to be touched by the torment. You see how much compassion he's giving to his father, right? And in the meantime, he's making dua to his father. وَاغْفِرْ لِأَبِي إِنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الضَّالِّينَ. Ya Allah, guide my father, give him hidayah, because he's astray, he's misguided. He's always making dua to his father, right? And this is something we need to do. If your father is not practicing practicing, he doesn't pray, he's doing bad things, he's yelling at your mom, he's, or if your mom is doing the same thing, she doesn't pray, whatever, because, as I said, sometimes the children are practicing, but the parents are taking a longer time to practice. And this makes it very difficult for the kids, right? So, if you talk to them, try to be nice with them, but in the meantime, ask Allah to give them hidayah, because hidayah is not from you. So we see Ibrahim alayhi salam always making dua to Allah to guide his father. Then what was the response of the father? Number one, he didn't respond in a similar way. You see Ibrahim saying, dear father, oh dear father, oh dear father, oh dear, 4 times. Then how did his father respond? He says, أَرَاغِبٌ أَنْتَ عَنْ آلِهَتِي يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ. How dare you reject my gods, Ibrahim. He didn't even call him son or dear son, just like his father. Then he said, so he didn't call him by his name, or he didn't say, oh my dear son, he called him by his name, and he said, how dare you reject my gods? And then, if you don't stop talking about my gods, I'm going to kick you out of the house, or I'm going to stone you to death, and get out of my face. I don't want to see you for a long time. Wajulni bali, right? So this is what he's saying. You see, you are talking to your fathers in a very nice way. Call him dear father, Salah, please come to Jummah, right? You are very nice to him, you are very humble with him. And all he said, you know what? Get out of my house. You are not my son. I'm going to shoot you, right? Don't come back to the house. This is how his father responded. And after all of this, after your dad responds in such a terrible way, you tell him, okay, peace, man, cool, right? This is how Ibrahim alayhi salam responded. قَالَ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْهِ. Peace be upon you. Peace, right? I will keep making dua to Allah to guide you. So this is how Ibrahim alayhi salam was making dua to his father, and he's always seeking help from Allah, and this is something we need to do. Remember, pick the right time, pick your words, be gentle and compassionate. Hidayah is from Allah, not from you, right? The question for last night